Episode 173 of the Local DMA podcast. This is Taylor Timothy, your host. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about my process of what we do to rebuild a website that's been around for a while. So it's been around for like 5 years. This particular company is about 5 to 10 years old. And the person they hired was just straight SEO. Nothing was set up for lead gen, lead capture. So we are actually in the process of rebuilding this thing right now, and that's what I'm going to walk you guys through of what to do when this actually happens. When you get a client that they have a ton of assets already, but we need to rebuild this. So let's not waste any more time and dive in. Okay, boys and girls, all of our online marketers out there. So this is what we're going to talk about with this whole website rebuild. I will tell you, I have two stories to tell you today about this. So one of our competitors, for one of our drug rehabs, they just had a website rebuild. And does the website look better? Yes. But in my favor, thank you for me, they dropped the ball. They absolutely dropped the ball when it comes to rebuilding their website. Now, it looks better, but they had over 200 blog posts, pages that were created on the site, and they didn't transfer them. They went down to like 15 URLs. And I will tell you, this is what happened to me, which is great. It's great for me. But the other marketer and the other business owner, I'm sorry. Absolutely sorry that this happened to you. But their SEO results went like this. Completely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. And we went like this. Freaking skyrocketed, and we have so many leads coming in, tons of phone calls coming in, and it's great. It's great for me, right? I love it. It's great for my client. My client's happy, and it's dandy fine for us. But whoever I'm sharing this information with, I pray you're not one of my competitors. But for all my listeners out there, this is the process of what you need to do when you rebuild the website. So this is the process that I do. I use WP Engine. I've told you guys this 100 million times on this podcast. So basically I start building the website over out on WP Engine. Then what I do is I pull the sitemap from the old website, and I get all the URLs that they have. I build a page specifically on WP Engine that's the same content, the same images, the same URLs, and everything. I transfer that over to WP Engine. Now, simple process there, right? But there's a little extra step, let's say. So that scenario was perhaps they're on WordPress, you're just rebuilding it on WordPress, so on and so forth. Now let's say it's custom coded, because that's what we're dealing with right now. So for whatever reason, the person that built out this old site, they have like the URL is website.com/g/the name. And for purposes of organization, etc., we're actually getting rid of the G or the F or the feed URL, and we're going to directly to the URL. Now, we're doing that for blog posts. Now, for pages, yes, you might have sub-parent pages that you need to make sure you transfer over. and so on and so forth. But what I'm telling you is, if you do that, what you need to do is you need to make sure you redirect that G URL to the new URL. You've got to make sure that you redirect all of those URLs. Now, the other side to this story is this particular company, they have over 1,200 pages, and we actually aren't transferring all of them over. The reason why is because there's a ton of spam pages. The SEO tactic that they were using was actually old. It was an older strategy that, yes, used to work, but has started not to work as good. So we're getting rid of a lot of pages, but we're making sure that we're transferring over a good majority of the pages that are ranking, that are actually going to help us produce the results that we're looking for. And then on top of that, we're rebuilding this site to actually be a lead capture machine instead of just SEO. A lot of times SEO guys, they get caught up in just the links and making sure there's this massive link tree. And all that stuff is good. It is important. But at the end of the day, when someone comes to your website, they need to fill out a form. They need to request information. They need to call you. Your Google listing needs to be ranking higher, so on and so forth. So that's the process of a website rebuild, of what I highly recommend to do. Make sure you transfer very important pages and don't delete all of your pages. The truth is, if there's like 300 pages, make sure you have all 300 pages transferred, unless there are tons of spam. People, spam. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode 173. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at localdma.com. If you need help with a website rebuild like this, it is a process, but at the end of the day, a lot of times after a rebuild like this, we see massive results. So that's going to wrap up this episode, and peace.